A little peanut butter sandwich and honey, and a little mini root beer in my little ice cup. I'm scrolling on Instagram and I see several beautiful people, and I'm going to sit back for a minute because I'm going to do little stretches while we chat. One talking about restorative aesthetics. Cool. All right. I gave her a follow. Why not? Another woman talking about internalized patriarchy, and something she said reminded me of this job I had in a nightclub. It's no secret. I work as a dancer, and I love it. And I like fashion and the costumes. I like it all. The music a little bit, meeting new people. Okay, I like going to the dance studio and training and taking classes and Zumba and working out at the gym. It's all great. And there was this one job I worked at for at least a year, maybe two, and then they hired a new manager. He was a little different. He was kind of like a white guy, military guy. I don't know. He was our manager for a while. And one time he had a meeting with us. They always have meetings with us. After the show ends, we have a little huddle meeting. We get dressed, wherever we're in our street clothes, we're ready to go home. And then they want to, coach us. Tell us what we should be doing better. Okay. Sometimes these meetings are important, Sometimes they were fun. Sometimes they were a little bit sexist. So I remember this one meeting when he was, it kind of goes along the lines of, at some point they're going to tell you, everybody, you need to smile, Okay. But this particular meeting, he was like, watch your weight, don't eat a double order of French fries. And I'm like, okay. All right. I don't think the dude knew that, I've been on a perpetual diet since I was 11 years old. Since I was in 5th grade, you guys. I was trying to shrink into, a size 0 Jordache denim acid wash jacket combined with the little mini skirt. It was built for a model. It wasn't built for me. It wasn't my size. But I wanted to shrink into it. I could zip it up. It was tight. I couldn't walk in it. So rather than try to find my size, I thought I was too big for clothes. Well, I was 10 years old. I was menstruating. Okay, I was literally in 5th grade. That's when I started diet culture. So here's this idiot that didn't have 3-4 years of professional training like I did. Maybe he was in the military. Maybe he worked out at the gym or something. But he's not a female. He doesn't menstruate. He's actually married to one of the very beautiful, I would say she's a top model. Yeah, she was very, very, very pretty. She was blonde, and she could have joined any company anywhere in the world. I mean, she was just a good looking girl. Okay. I don't want to say Barbie, but I don't want to say Playboy Bunny, but she was very, very, very pretty and nice hair, and they were married and they had a child, and their dog bit their child. Yeah, that was bad. And why I'm mentioning the double order of French fries? Here's the thing. When I zoom out of it, because I've been out of that particular industry for more than 10 years, but almost 12 years now. And I'm still coaching. Well, my last coaching, I was coaching wedding couples. The pandemic kind of shifted some things around. I changed my phone number, so my Google listing doesn't get any phone calls. But, and I'm writing musicals right now. So, but when I zoom back out, and I think about what he said, he's basically body shaming us and fat shaming us, even though we were elite athletes and the cream of the crop and all beautiful and, the quest for perfectionism and control over women and the fat shaming and stuff. And there was nobody there that was overweight. Everybody was like a gymnast or, whatever. I zoom out and I realize the company owned the entire plaza. Not only the nightclub, they also owned the entire strip mall. And behind our locker room was like a photo studio room that they were experimenting with, creating content. I got to visit there once. And because my then boyfriend, who I met there at the job, also worked as a camera person. He was theatrical as well. And so he showed me, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that. Oh, okay, whatever. I didn't know that room even existed. But my point of this whole video, 6 minutes in, is I'm thinking, like, if they really wanted us to be in the best shape of our lives, in super top shape, they could have built a little workout room for us to do like 15 minutes before or after work. Like, they had the whole plaza. They could have had a gym adjacent. They could have had a small little workout studio. They could have hired us a coach or a personal trainer, a body sculpting person. They could have weekly classes. But no, instead they wanted to film web content. Okay. And these are the ways that when you're in it, you don't challenge the systems that have not been built yet. And I just come back to the systems have not been built. They want to demand you to be a certain way, but are they enabling you to be that way with the skill set and the tools that you need, the resources you need? It's the same as this haunting time back 10, 15 years ago. I was on POF, which is a dating website, Plenty of Fish. And somebody messaged me like, hey, you want to go out? I guess it was like Thursday at 7 p.m. I was like, okay, whatever. Just some brunette dude. Whatever, fine. And he gives me a call. And he starts harassing me on the phone. He's like, well, before we go out, I just want to know, like, do you want kids? And I'm like, no. And he's like, well, I don't want to, go out if you don't want kids. So, okay. And I just got off that interaction and I was like, gosh, he was aggressive. The guy's worried about spending an extra $15 on a meal for a pretty girl. Like, what's his problem? And I'm like, yeah, he's trying to pre-screen whether or not we have the same similar values and whether we want the same things out of life. That's a sit-down conversation. Right. So even if I'd say, oh, yeah, well, how am I going to know what answer he was looking for? You know what I mean? I could have said, yeah, and then he would have said, well, I don't want kids. I don't want to date a single mom. I don't know what's going to please him. He's hard to please. He doesn't know if I already had kids, or he doesn't know that I had 2 traumatic pregnancy losses. I was a mom. Yeah. I don't know if he has kids. I don't know. And I'm like, it felt like a dog sniffing my crotch, honestly. It's like, don't interview my vagina. Like, we haven't even sat down and introduced ourselves yet properly. That was rude. And, I could have still had kids. I had at least 10 more years of fertility. And you guys, like, that's not how biology works. Usually a woman falls in love, feels trust and safety, meets her family, then sees one of her friends having kids and going through the process, then starts getting baby fever. Then, you take a walk, you visit the little baby clothes section, and she's like, oh, these are cute. Oxytocin, serotonin, like, good feelings, the bonding hormones. You give her a few orgasms every week or whatever her deal is. I'm just saying that you don't ask a woman if she wants to have kids with you while you're, like, basically chewing her out on the phone. Like, that's not the pathway to success. So, we are surrounded by crappy men who are failing to think about what women need, what women want, are failing to actually listen to women's voices, are failing to create safety, are failing to yield to us. They're failing to let us lead. And they're failing to create safe spaces for us in the world and maintain that for us. I'll give you an example and then I gotta go. I hired an engineer, a musician, and he's a handsome guy. He's now married. He had a girlfriend at the time. He was young. He was a physical therapy assistant. He worked out. He was athletic. And I toured the studio, went my way. We started working on a project. And one day, I get to my appointment time, and he fell asleep. And I could see him through the window, snoozing. I can see, like, the couch, and he's just passed out. I call, I lightly knock, and I'm standing outside alone, like, looking around my shoulder, like, wondering, like, am I safe? And I was locked out for, like, 45 minutes. So I sat on the chair outside, and I was, like, terrified to be out there by myself. These are the ways that men don't guard our safety. He eventually woke up. He eventually moved away. I was working on my stuff. He was working on his stuff. We didn't really create a song together that is a finished production. Newsflash. Because I feel like his focus was more on his girlfriend. And every time she would call, it wasn't really focused on his client, who I have a timeline too. And so some businesses have a little buzzer outside, or they have a receptionist, or they set their alarm when they have appointments. But okay, I chalked it up to he's tired. It's after work. Maybe he didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Maybe he just feels it happens. Okay, he didn't mean to. But these are the ways that women are left holding the bag. We're out there, standing out there by ourselves, wondering, like, when is our time going to come? When are we going to be taken seriously? When are we going to be valued? It's kind of like the plaza owner that had the nightclub with the crappy manager telling us not to eat French fries, but yet they're devoting time and resources towards internet entertainment instead of reinvesting in their talent and their workforce and their company. They eventually sold that plaza, bought a big warehouse, and then sold it to a big company. So, and then they bought a nightclub downtown. It was like a bar and restaurant and other restaurant operators. So, long story short, women have to create those spaces for ourselves. Who's going to engineer the music? I will, because I'm tired of paying men. Okay? Who's going to create that women's gym? I will. And who's going to put the little camera with the little button outside the recording studio? I will. Who's going to create safety for women? I will. More mental load on me, more responsibility on us. And part of that responsibility is having important conversations. Not just, hey, what'd you eat for lunch? How you doing? It's also, what have you done lately to make the lives of women and girls better? What can you do to create a safer environment for women so there's less domestic violence on women? Educate your sons, have conversations in public, give your little TED talk. What are you doing to create not only inner peace, domestic peace, civil peace, world peace? we have a few cheerleaders out there, like the red flag guy, and I follow a handful of these men that are out there kind of policing men's bad behavior, but more than that, are you creating women's safety? And I don't just mean, self-defense classes. I mean, are there cameras at the front entrance of your business? Cameras pointed in the parking lot? Do you have somebody at the front entrances or the front door, opening doors or greeting people? Do you have a security guard for your plaza? If you own a gym, is it just a bunch of dudes? Do you even have a women's locker room? I'll give you another example. I went to a 24-hour gym. I get there. It's like midnight. There's like 15 dudes and nobody working at the front desk. No women in sight. I had to turn around and walk out. Because God forbid, I go to the bathroom and somebody follows me in there, tries to assault me. There's no front desk person to yell for help. Nobody would come. I could get gang raped and nobody would even say anything. There's 2 private locker rooms without cameras. I couldn't work out. All the guys could work out because they don't have to worry about being pregnant and stuff like that. They've got muscles. Like, why didn't they have a front desk person? Well, they were probably working out themselves. I didn't see anybody in a company shirt. These are the ways that women are pushed out of society. We're pushed out of inclusion and pushed out of consideration. You guys have to walk around in a pair of high heels and a skirt and some lipstick. Go about your day. And think, if there was a man trying to attack me, how could he do that? And you'll see opportunities everywhere. You'll see staircases without railing, so you can't hold on when you go up or down. Create safety for girls and women. Right? Start looking for those little things you can do, whether it's lighting a pathway or removing obstacles. I'll give you an example. We have a pool, and there's like the grass is sort of sloped up, and then the sidewalk is below that. Well, years and years and years of rain and soil erosion, it was sandy, and I walked to the pool and I slipped and I stumbled and I caught my fall, but I dislocated my right hip. It took a year and a half of telling the maintenance and the board of directors and yelling at them and them sending me letters and all this crap. And finally I caught the guy out for a walk and I told him, hey, you're the director of maintenance, the sidewalk needs to be cleaned. Actually, I bought the materials and I installed it, but it wasn't long enough, and they stole it. I put it in the back. The sun went down. I was going to come back the next day. I was fixing it with like a little retainer border, and they stole the border that I was installing. They still haven't put a retainer wall. Okay. And then I see this little old lady walking with her walker down that same sidewalk that has an obstruction on it. She can slip and fall and hurt herself. Right? Clear the pathways for women to be successful and to be safe. Create the pathways and maintain them and guard them. You guys, I think you all know it's not about eating French fries, right? They're telling us not to eat instead of them taking those extra rooms and creating a space where we can have a trainer and we can have... Now, there's gyms everywhere. We can all join a gym. But, they had the space. They'd rather just food shame us than them doing what they could do. So before you point the finger at women and say you need to do this and you shouldn't do that, ask yourself what you can do to make the lives of women and girls better. If you're a teacher, can you stand in your doorway watching them in the hallway so they don't get bullied for that extra minute while they're changing classes? Is that allowed? What else can you do? There's a middle school down the block. And then there's like a little convenience store. A lot of the little middle kids go there, and sometimes they don't all have money for snacks. And I did that once. I bought some boys some snacks. And I realized there really wasn't good choices for kids that were affordable and convenient and shelf stable, etc., etc. Blue sugar water, create opportunities. You see the need, you see the lack, you create pathways to success. Right? I designed a food product. I don't want to tell you what it is because it's not done yet, but yes. Because I saw the need. Okay. Now, on a side note, I woke up today, I was stretching, and I cracked my left, I did a lot of hinge movements yesterday, and clothes are heavy. And I picked up some bags. I got 6 more bags of clothes that were donated to me that I have to move to my patio. And I got to get that done before my mom gets home. So I got to get off the phone. And I just snapped my hip again on the left side. Ooh. I'm going to take an NSAID. Just like a leave. You guys, I wasn't fat or overweight or whatever because I was eating double French fries. Okay. What he should have said is, make sure you have your health insurance and you're visiting your doctor regularly and I actually have hyperthyroidism and a virus and, I was abused as a child. I was infected with HSV-1. Like, I have underlying health. But instead of saying, when was the last time you all went to the doctor for your health checkup and da-da-da-da-da and get your metabolic panel and, make sure you have a nutritionist. Instead of that, he just food shamed us and bombarded us with diet culture. Called us gluttonous, as if we're ordering double French fries. And all of us had gym memberships. It wasn't just about, the fact that they didn't have a gym there. But no, they didn't have a training camp. They didn't have a training center and they didn't have a coach. And I'm like, you expect us, after we work, to be so tired. You expect us to just starve ourselves. And not eat. So that we can smile on your stage. He terminated me like a few months after that. He was like, your services are no longer needed. Okay. I got a job someplace else like the next day. So I wasn't worried. It was actually an even better place. So, they don't value their women. Okay. And we're dealing with a bunch of dumb men. We have to share spaces with them. Like, the elevator repair guy tried to lure me into the broken elevator with all of his tools. I wouldn't go. I was like, And he's like, oh, come on. No, I'm good. He asked me like 3-4 times. And then as I was walking by, I looked and it was all tools. No, I would have got stuck in there with them. No. And then the call button for asking for help doesn't even work. There's no cameras in there. Hell no. They try to lure you into a broken elevator. That's how stupid men are. That's the opposite of creating safety. I had to email property management and be like, they're not even barricading their construction zone and they're urinating in the hallway because you didn't give them a porta potty. Like, I'm literally telling them how to do their jobs. I have to do my job. I shouldn't have to tell you how to do your job. But here we are. Y'all need to start listening to women. And I'll leave you with one final example. When I was working as a security guard on the beach, the female manager, she was cold. She was unapproachable. She was kind of, I don't know what her situation was, but she was not a happy person. And she ended up getting replaced. They didn't have her services the following year, but she was making $90,000 a year to manage a building, and she had a meeting with all of us security guards one day. And I had a big cooler from 7-Eleven sells them, Wawa sells them. They're double insulated. They keep your drink cold all day. Ice water and whatever else little drink mix I put in there. And she was like shaming, like, oh, we pay you for the full 8 hours. We'll give you 5 minutes to go to the bathroom, but don't bring a big drink. And I was like, yeah, she's shaming my drink. She doesn't realize that it's not all liquid. It's this much plastic and this much liquid, but okay. They didn't want to pay us for bathroom breaks. And by the way, I menstruate. When I was working there, I was menstruating. So I was like, gotta change my pad. Like, that's, what a bitch. And she, said, do you have any suggestions? And one of the female security guards said, yeah, can you number the doors? Because we have to walk around and check that the doors are locked, but it's hard to tell you which one's broken if they're not. And they did. They put little sticky numbers on the door, and you can say, door number 6 is rust corroded, doesn't latch. So that was actually really intelligent. I'm surprised. She was a cat rescue lady. I'm surprised that I didn't have that idea. That was brilliant. And then they implemented it. And then when I walked around and checked all the doors, there you go. And so that really signified the power of asking, the power of giving an opportunity to make improvements, and them taking action on that. Yeah, it was a woman's idea, and there we go. I got shamed for having a big drink. Okay, for hydrating myself, one of the most basic things that has to happen, and I'm prone to heat stroke and dehydration and anorexia. What a bitch to food shame me. And I didn't take excessive bathroom breaks. What a bitch. Other places have a bathroom where you're posted, right there. So they don't even give women bathrooms. We saw that in the movie about this space. I didn't see the movie, but they had to walk 2 miles to the bathroom. They wouldn't even give them a bathroom. So that's what I'm saying. Or the colored NASA people. I didn't see the whole movie, but basically it's like that. Are you even giving us a bathroom? Do you even give us a door that locks? I can't even tell you the amount of times that I've worked in places where the doors don't lock. And then you have to tell the property manager the door doesn't lock. Guys, just preemptively check that the doors lock. To guard your employees, your female employees. Trust me, we're going to notice that the door doesn't lock and that you are not mindful of our safety. We see that, we feel that those are micro aggressions of neglect. By leaving us exposed, the doors don't even lock. Can't even lock the door. And then you don't fix it. You don't check it. So check to make sure all the doors and windows are locked. Guard your girls and your women. You shouldn't have to. There were a lot of little things. One of the other male managers went and bought matching ties for all the male employees and didn't give the girls one. I said something to him like, "Oh, really? You didn't get one for everybody?" And he's like, "Oh, it wasn't like that." Mm-hmm. "Oh, that was something special." Mm-hmm. You excluded the women. He got a good deal. There were 3 left. He gave it to his friends. Okay, but really? And when I worked as a security guard, all the women were part-time, all the men were full-time with benefits. That's not just the wage gap. Major wage gap. Like poverty wages. They'll put you below the poverty guidelines. All the men got 1 to 2 weeks of paid vacation plus health insurance plus full-time. And we got part-time and food shamed? You give me part-time minimum wage and you're telling me I can't have water? And shaming me for having a bathroom break? Really? That's how low the bar is for the treatment of women and girls. Okay. Sure, women in the workforce have tons of their own stories. And my solution is just secure spaces with women, accommodate them, give them what they need to succeed. Don't shame them, don't food deprive them, don't weaponize food. Don't tell them to shrink. I had another manager who told me to shrink. Come on now. I had another manager tell me that I looked too comfortable. My sales numbers were pretty high. They'll continue doing what you tolerate. It's okay to just say, hey, I don't tolerate disrespect. I don't tolerate racism. I don't tolerate sexism. I don't tolerate ageism. I don't tolerate limiting beliefs. I don't tolerate shame. I don't hold on to other people's shame. I don't hold on to people's food shame. I don't hold on to people's body shame. I don't hold on to people's emotional shame. It's the doll complex. They want you to be pretty, but they don't really think about your needs. They treat you like you're a cute little doll on the shelf, always precious, doesn't age. Doesn't talk back. I'm out of there. It's not much better anywhere else. I went to work at Amazon thinking maybe it'll be high tech. No, it was the worst. They had a bullhorn. They're like a megaphone. They're like, break time is over. And I'm like, what are we in middle school? What the hell? Yeah, that was awful too. All of it's awful. All of it is. It's like Elizabeth Gilbert. She said it's just a different shit sandwich. Yeah. I'm not here to be pessimistic, but I'm just saying the solution is being mindful and forthcoming about what women need. I was lucky that I worked part-time at a law office and the lawyer was, mindful, and he would say things like, oh, going back to college is always great. I'll pay for one class. He paid for some books or whatever, got me back going, People that pour into you and invest in you, okay. Right. Rode that wave. Okay. I'm gonna get up. Alright, guys. So, let me tell you something, okay? The first line of defense is just making them aware of it. Hey, that sounds a little racist. Are you sure you meant it like that? Is that a limiting belief? Challenge them. Just ask them a good question. Are you feeling all right today? Is this really about the catch-up? Or is it something else? Give them an opportunity to autocorrect. Okay. I know you didn't mean it like that, because I know you're a good person. When I worked as a security guard, one of the male guards said, "Oh, well, we've never had problems till they started hiring women." What problems? There were no problems. He just wanted to bash women. And I'm like, okay, dude. Really? Yeah. What does my gender have to do with it? Like, it was a pretty basic job. Like, walk around a condo, open the gates. Like, like, we have problems. Wow. That's not true. They had problems with the guys. There was one guy that was using the desk computer to sell electronics on eBay. So they disabled internet access so he couldn't go on eBay. Is that a good solution? Just let the guy sell his electronics. Who cares? Then they blame women for all their problems. Okay. It's 9 a.m. Good morning. I've already eaten breakfast, and now I'm going to go be a cat mom. Let's make some ice water together. Hope I didn't bum you out. I hope that at the end of the day, you're like, yeah, maybe there are some things I could do better. Let me see what I can do. Look around you. See what you can do. I'm going to take my mom's. I put her magnet business card in the fridge. I hope it didn't come out in the video. Okay? I love you. Take care. I hope you're happy, healthy, wealthy. I hope you have a good morning. This is where I slept last night. Okay? Good night.